Good morning, Wildcats. It's Wildcat Wednesday on the move, and we have Carla King, principal at El Dorado Middle School, and Heath Henderson, assistant principal at El Dorado Middle School. And they are here this morning to talk about amazing things that are happening right there at El Dorado Middle School. So take it away.
All right. Well, thank you. We're really excited about sharing some of the great things that are happening at EMS. I am going to share my screen and go through a presentation with you that we've prepared for today. And get it. Whoop, wrong one. When you're on Zoom, it's a little different because your screen doesn't work as well. Slideshow. There we go. Okay. Our district mission, as everyone knows, is every day with excellence. So we always start our meetings with that. Also, we always start out with good things. So Mr. Henderson, can you share some good things with us?
I have two good things. One of them is building related and one of them is personal. The personal one is I got to spend my last weekend with my grandson, and that's always fills my personal bucket. My school bucket that was filled is this Monday. We hosted our first boys basketball game, 7th and 8th grade, and we went 3-1 on the day. But more importantly, I just saw great sportsmanship and great fan participation and student participation. It was just fun to be in the building with all that success here at El Dorado.
And it's nice because we still are in our mask requirement. So that was our first event at the middle school, having that, and our guests and all the patrons that attended did a great job with that. So we appreciate that. We know it's not a love, but we very much appreciate those people that attended and complied to that requirement. So looking forward to this Friday when we get to see if these can go away for the middle school. So we know Grandview is enjoying their time. So hopefully as a district, we can move towards that. So thank you. Ms. Tosh, do you have any good thing you want to share real quick?
I do have a good thing. One of the things I love most about El Dorado Middle School and the two people sitting on this Zoom with me is Carla and Heath do an amazing job being out and about with the hallways, interacting with kids, interacting with teachers. Every time I'm there, it's hard to catch them in their office because they're out and about in the hallways. And I want to give you huge kudos for that. So we appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. Today is not going to be one of those days because we are back to back with meetings, it seems like. So, but thank you. So with that, we're going to talk a little bit about our positive culture. Mr. Henderson, I'll have you start us off.
Absolutely. Here, with everything that's happened over the last couple years, it's creating a positive culture is extremely important to us, and we are taking a three-prong approach to that, and that's with our students, our staff, and our community. And so we have 3 committees at our building that focus on each one of those 2 prongs. Our PBIS, our positive behavior intervention systems supports is for our students. How can we help our students? And our social committee is about our staff. How can we create that community on our staff? And then our CATS committee, which is new this year, is, okay, so what are we doing with our community and how are we celebrating El Dorado and making sure that we're not losing that community piece by being just a silo out here on Wildcat Way. And so on that CATS piece, it's about bringing that pride, that community pride, back to El Dorado. We are here to help foster a culture that inspires all students, parents, and communities to collectively create a positive and spirited atmosphere, as well as fostering real-world opportunities for El Dorado Middle School. Some of the things that we are doing in that are, we have done a couple events, with the things going on, it's hard to do a lot of community things, but we did host an outdoor veterans drive-through celebration on Veterans Day. We co-hosted that with our K Club, where we celebrated our veterans. We had, donuts and coffee, and we had them come out and we took pictures, and it was just a very patriotic day where our kids got to really celebrate those people. And that was just phenomenal. We're currently collaborating with Stuco to do a clothing drive for here locally. One of the other things we do is we like to celebrate who we are as a community. And some of those, we have a board out here, the Did You Know and Do You Know, where we have fun facts, but we also talk about the big world famous people who come from Little El Dorado, people like Alex Graves, who's a director on Game of Thrones and West Wing and Shameless, and Daxton Broomquist, who was on Broadway, to people who have historical significance, like Ralph Graham, who was a K-State football coach at K-State, who integrated the Big Seven, Bobby Douglas, who was an NFL player. And then we also talk about people who are in our own building. We have one of our students who is doing big things with bike riding and things, and very, very successful. And so we try to keep it local and celebrate people from our past and our present. So that's what our CATS committee is all about.
And it's been awesome to see that pride piece, and that's something that research shows those schools that have that community pride just flourish. So appreciate all the work what that committee's doing. It's kind of nice. We've divided up the committees, so it represents every single facet of the building. So that's nice. So you really get a large group of input for all those committees. The committee that I'm going to talk about is the social committee. This committee is really just working with staff specifically. As we know, if we have happy teachers, we have happy kids. So we want to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves. As everyone knows, it's just really stressful right now to be in education. And so we want to make sure we at the middle school have and just continue to have a veteran staff. We have little turnover. We just have a few people that might be leaving. And so this group of individuals have been together a lot, and they are a fun group, a fun group. We always say you are what you teach. And so we kind of like to have shenanigans and those kind of things that middle schoolers do. So finding ways to do fun and engaging things is easy for our staff because they're so creative and they're like, oh, this would be fun for us to do. We've had a chili cook-off. That was really exciting. Teachers came in. Actually, Miss Tosh was one of our judges. We're getting ready in March. We'll have a pie contest. People will bake pies and have that. We've also each month have a shout out board, and staff are represented in a bulletin board that we have in the hallway. And so it's really neat. Kids will stop by and read that during passing periods and just kind of get to know staff a little bit. At the end of each month, we have a drawing for one person, and it's either a sub sandwich that they win or a sub for an hour. So many times the greatest gift that you can give teachers is time. And so we really try to validate that. So that's just another piece that we do, positive affirmations. We try to, send food, open up the pot machine, just do things that we can to support our teachers. Chocolate goes a long way sometimes on a Friday afternoon or so just making sure that we celebrate the great things that they do. And because we just don't want to forget how hard they're working. So that's part of our social committee. Our next committee is the PBIS, and it's our positive behavior support. And it deals specifically with looking at students and rewarding those things that they're doing every single day without being asked. So highlighting those positives. I'll have Mr. Henderson.
Well, and on piggybacking on the PBIS, it is truly about highlighting those positive. We do have a pros party monthly where we celebrate those kids who have doing well in the classroom and doing well socially by not getting referrals and things of that nature. And we've done different things where we've had popsicle parties, we've had dodgeball, we talk about that gift of time with teachers. This is our gift of time with students. So when they get a chance to just let their hair down and be kids who have this, similar values and who've gone above and beyond, it's a lot of fun to watch those kids in that environment be rewarded for those things.
And there's there's never enough of that. You can never, we sometimes think that, well, kids, they should just do it because, well, kids like to be told they're doing a good job too. So making sure we recognize those kids, because sometimes, even as a parent, it seems like sometimes that negative becomes our focus instead of really flipping that and looking at, wow, we have 95% of our kids doing what we ask them to do every day. And that is something, with our community, we have amazing kids. It just, looking at our discipline referrals and, kids come to school, and I just am really proud about that. And then just teaching, we have our online bully process as far as that reporting tool if things are going on. We really at the middle school level try to use that as a positive for kids that, hey, report that. Every one of those referrals come to myself, Mr. Henderson, and Officer Spivey. We get an email, plus we get a text. So we know that in every single one of those are investigated. And a lot of times it is referred to our counselors who just need to mediate between two kids. But that's an important part of growing and dealing with conflict, because as adults, there are many times we have conflict. So learning those skills early. And then too, there are times we find out we do have some problems. Social media is a huge enemy with us in the middle school. Kids just developmentally, it's difficult. It's difficult for them to understand that, okay, would you say that a nice thing to someone's face, but yet you're going to text that? Or so just teaching a lot of those skills is helpful. And then rewarding kids for making good choices for those. So our last piece that we're going to talk about is we have an amazing partnership with our South Central Mental Health Center. That happened, about 3-4 years ago, when we were able to add a social worker. That now is through a grant, funded through the grant through the DCF, right? Is that correct?
KSDE.
KSDE grant. So what that allows us to do is we have a district social worker. We have one at the secondary level. We have one at the elementary level. They also are able to provide a therapist who is on site in our building 5 days a week. And we also have case managers who are in our building working with kids to deal with mental health issues. That has been a tremendous piece of support. It's difficult for parents sometimes to be able to get kids to appointments and things. And so having that available right at school, having those services, because our counselors are here to work with kids, but they truly don't do true counseling. And so this is actually a therapist, our social workers working on things, resources for families, connecting those. So that's a great partnership that we have. And we just are really seeing the positive benefits of that program. Also, one last piece I want to talk about, we have communities and schools. We are so fortunate to have that. We're the only building in the district that have that piece, and that is through a DHS or DCF grant. And we are so fortunate to have that program. Randy Just is our coordinator for that, student support coordinator. And the things that he is able to provide, that is a connection from home to school, the stuff that kids need. We can provide school supplies, we can provide educational things, but sometimes there's some support at home that needs to happen, and he bridges that gap. So that's another great resource that we're able to provide our students in order for them to be successful. The whole mission of communities and schools is to provide opportunities for students for success and hope that in graduation. So that is just a little bit about our middle school. We're so proud of all of our teachers and students that we have and the great support we have from our parents. So our launch, anytime we have a meeting, we always end with a launch. Part of this process, the good things, the launch, that is all Capturing Kids' Hearts. That is a district initiative that we have. And its whole philosophy is just being kind, just putting some structures in place for us and just treating people well. So we always do good things at the beginning to start with a positive vibe. Every single class period, students are asked that. I always, when Mr. Henderson and I have had the great opportunity to be able to sub a little bit in classes. And so it's always nice to get back to teaching. It really is. When you're an administrator, you're always a teacher first, right? So that's always neat. And so anytime I'm doing good things with kids, why are we doing this? We're like, because it's positive, it makes you feel good. So we that's the whole goal is, again, going back to that positive piece, because if we're down there in the mud, it can be not good. So what kinds of things can we do? So our launch today, coming together is the beginning, keeping together is progress, and working together is success. So we just want to thank everyone for their support of the middle school, and we're always here. If you need us, please give us a shout out.
Carla and Heath, thank you very much. There are amazing things going on at EMS, and I'll tag on your launch a little bit and say, number one, you have some of the best chili cooks I've ever had the opportunity to taste. And number two, I want to thank you for creating a middle school I would have liked to have gone to when I was that age. It's a happy, healthy, wonderful place, and I appreciate you and your staff because you're doing great things. So Wildcats, have a great day. Thank you for joining us on the road, and we will see you next Wednesday. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye. See ya.
Bye.
Coming.